You are in a meeting, and your idea is dismissed without a second thought. That sinking feeling of not being taken seriously is something we all know too well. What if you could flip that script entirely, not by fighting louder, but by cultivating a quiet, unshakable strength that commands attention effortlessly? This is the power of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that teaches you how to earn instant respect through inner wisdom, not outward aggression. By the end of this video, you will possess 25 specific, actionable responses rooted in Stoic practice that can transform how others perceive you in any situation. We will uncover how a simple pause can become your greatest asset, and why admitting you do not know something can actually build immense trust. What single quality do you believe is the true foundation of lasting respect? That moment your idea is dismissed can feel like a punch to the gut, triggering an immediate need to defend yourself. But the first and most powerful Stoic response is to do the exact opposite. You reclaim your power in the silence that follows. Instead of firing back, you take one deliberate, conscious breath. This simple pause is your anchor. It sends a clear, unspoken message to everyone in the room. You are not ruled by the heat of the moment. Your composure demonstrates that your words are not reactive impulses but considered judgments. This immediately separates you from anyone who might be expecting or even hoping for an emotional outburst. They are waiting for a fight, and you give them stillness. This is the practical application of a core Stoic principle. The philosopher Epictetus taught that we should never assent to an initial impression without first examining it. That dismissive comment is just an impression, a piece of information. It is not yet a truth that demands your anger or your shame. By pausing, you create the necessary space to ask yourself a vital question. Is this dismissal a true reflection of my idea's worth, or is it merely someone else's passing opinion? You are not accepting the impression as fact. You are choosing your response based on reason, not on reflex. This quiet self-control is unmistakable and instantly earns respect. It shows you are governed by an inner strength that cannot be easily shaken. This silence is not an empty void. It is a space you fill with a composed and deliberate presence. Your body speaks its own language, and in that crucial pause, every non-verbal cue must reinforce your inner calm. Let your eyes meet the other person with a steady but not challenging gaze. This calm eye contact signals that you are fully present and engaged, not retreating in defeat. Do not let your gaze dart away nervously, but also avoid a hard, confrontational stare. You are simply observing, taking in the situation without being consumed by it. At the same time, consciously relax your shoulders. Release any tension you might be holding in your jaw or your hands. A relaxed posture is not a posture of surrender. It is the physical manifestation of a mind that is not under siege. It communicates that you are so secure in your own judgment that external critiques do not cause you to physically tighten or recoil. Your facial expression should remain neutral, a calm mask that conceals any internal turmoil. This is not about being emotionless, but about being the master of your emotions. A neutral face is incredibly difficult to read, and in that ambiguity lies your strength. The other person cannot see the sting of the dismissal, so they cannot gauge their impact on you. This combination, the steady eyes, the relaxed body, and the calm face, transforms your silence from awkwardness into authority. The silence itself becomes a powerful and respectful statement. It says, "I have heard you, and I am considering your words with the weight they deserve, not the weight of my own pride." This entire non-verbal performance is a direct application of another Stoic ideal, the dichotomy of control. You cannot control the other person's words or opinions. That lies outside your sphere, but you have absolute control over your own posture, your expression, and your breath. By perfecting what is within your power, you demonstrate a profound self-possession that commands instant respect. People are drawn to those who remain unshaken, and your calm demeanor in the face of dismissal makes your eventual, reasoned response far more compelling. Your silence has created a space of immense power, a calm center from which your next move flows. Once you have anchored yourself with that deliberate pause, you are ready for the second powerful Stoic response, acknowledging any valid point within the criticism. This is where you transform a potential conflict into a moment of profound connection. The immediate human reaction is to defend, to justify, to explain why the critic is wrong. The Stoic, however, seeks truth above all else, even when that truth is uncomfortable. Your first task is to actively listen for a grain of truth in what was said. It might be a small detail, a perspective you had not considered, or a genuine flaw in your initial proposal. When you find it, you must voice it clearly. You might say something as simple as, "You are right, I did overlook that detail," or "That is a fair point about the timeline." This single act of acknowledgement is disarming. It completely subverts the expectation of a defensive argument. You are not agreeing with the entire criticism, nor are you surrendering. You are simply demonstrating intellectual honesty, a commitment to seeing reality as it is, not just as you wish it to be. This is the practical application of the Stoic virtue of justice, giving others their due. You are giving the other person the credit they deserve for a valid observation. By thanking them for their feedback, you complete this virtuous loop. A simple, sincere thank you for pointing that out shifts the entire dynamic from adversarial to collaborative. It shows you see them not as an opponent, but as a partner in the pursuit of a better outcome. Onlookers will instantly perceive this as a mark of incredible maturity and strength. Defensiveness is seen as weakness, a sign of fragile ego. Your ability to acknowledge a fault without your entire identity crumbling demonstrates a rock-solid self-worth that is not dependent on being perfect. You prove that your goal is growth, not just being right. This humility is magnetic. It makes people want to trust you because they see that you are more interested in the truth than in winning a petty debate. You become someone who can handle difficult conversations with grace, a person who earns respect not in spite of criticism, but because of the dignified way you choose to receive it. This reframing of criticism is a powerful display of strength, but what happens when the challenge escalates from a simple dismissal to a direct insult? The third Stoic response turns this volatile moment into your greatest opportunity. You learn to see the insult not as a personal attack, but as a test of your character. In that instant, the harsh words are not about you. They are a reflection of the other person's internal state. Your reaction becomes the only thing that matters. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Your path to revenge, then, is to remain virtuous where the other person was not. When someone hurls an insult, they are often expecting a specific reaction: anger, defensiveness, pain. They are trying to provoke you into an emotional duel. By refusing to take the bait, you demonstrate that their words lack the power to shake you. Your emotional resilience becomes a fortress they cannot breach. The most effective way to do this is to respond with calm, solution-focused words. You might say, "I can see that you are upset. How can we resolve this?" This simple sentence is a masterstroke. It completely reframes the entire interaction. You are no longer two people in a conflict. You are one person observing an emotional state and offering a path forward. You have redefined the situation from a personal battle into a practical problem to be solved. This immediately places you in a position of emotional leadership. The insult loses its sting because you have chosen not to accept its premise. You have not agreed with it, nor have you argued against it. You have simply sidestepped it entirely and redirected the energy toward a constructive outcome. This ability to remain unshaken in the face of personal attacks earns you a profound and immediate form of respect. People will watch you navigate this difficult moment and see a person of immense self-control and clarity. They see someone who cannot be easily knocked off balance, someone who prioritizes resolution over retaliation. This is not about suppressing your feelings, but about mastering them so completely that your focus remains on what truly matters, finding a solution and maintaining your own integrity. That solution-focused calm is a fortress few can penetrate, but the fourth Stoic response takes this resilience to an even higher level, transforming the very nature of adversity itself through the simple, profound act of expressing gratitude. This is not about pretending a setback is pleasant. It is about recognizing its hidden utility. The Stoics called this practice amor fati, a love of one's fate. It is the radical acceptance of every event, good or bad, as a necessary part of your life's journey and an opportunity for growth. When a project fails or a plan falls apart, the instinct is to complain, to lament the unfairness of it all. But the Stoic sees the same event and asks a different question. What is this trying to teach me? How can this make me stronger? You then give voice to that perspective. You might say to your team, I am grateful for this setback because it reveals a weakness in our process we can now fix. Or you might tell a colleague, thank you for this difficult feedback. It is exactly what I needed to hear to improve. This statement, delivered with genuine sincerity, is electrifying. It completely reframes the collective experience from one of failure to one of discovery. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You have become the alchemist, turning the lead of misfortune into the gold of wisdom. This demonstrates a strength of character that goes far beyond mere composure. It shows you possess an unshakable internal compass, one that is oriented not toward comfort, but toward virtue and improvement. People are instinctively drawn to this mindset because it is so rare and so powerful. They see someone who cannot be broken by external events, someone who finds fuel in the very obstacles that would stop others. Your gratitude in the face of a challenge is not just respectable, it is inspiring. It lifts the morale of everyone around you and creates an environment where fear of failure diminishes, replaced by a collective courage to learn and adapt. You become a leader not by title, but by example, showing that the greatest respect is earned by embracing life exactly as it comes, with gratitude as your guide. Gratitude transforms obstacles into opportunities, yet some storms feel utterly beyond our influence. The fifth Stoic response is your anchor in that chaos, a simple declaration that shifts your entire perspective. You calmly state that you are focusing only on what you can control. Picture a project deadline suddenly moved up, sending your team into a panic. While others complain about the unrealistic expectations or blame management, you take a quiet breath and say, I cannot control the new deadline, but I can control my focus and my effort for the next few hours. This statement is a lightning rod for respect. It does not ignore the difficulty of the situation. Instead, it cuts through the noise and identifies the only productive path forward. You are embodying the core Stoic principle, the dichotomy of control, separating the world into two simple categories, what is up to us and what is not. Your actions, your judgments, your efforts, these are entirely within your power. The deadline, other people's reactions, and unforeseen complications, these are not. By vocalizing your focus, you demonstrate a profound understanding of this division. You are showing everyone that you do not waste a single ounce of your precious energy on futile resistance or fruitless complaining. You channel all of your power into your own sphere, into the things you can actually change. This makes you incredibly effective and grounded. While others are spinning in circles of anxiety, you are already moving, taking clear, purposeful steps. People notice this immediate shift from paralysis to action. They see a person who remains steady when everything is falling apart, a person who understands that true power is not about commanding the storm, but about adjusting your own sails. This practical wisdom is magnetic. It tells everyone that you are a person of immense resourcefulness and calm strength, the very kind of person others instinctively look to for leadership when chaos reigns. Focusing on your own effort builds an island of calm, but life's strongest currents are often emotional. The sixth Stoic response is a timeless phrase that can steady you in any storm, the simple reminder that this too shall pass. You can use this as a silent mantra in your mind or speak it gently to comfort a distressed colleague. Its power lies in its profound truth, a truth that anchors you in the long view when short-term emotions threaten to pull you under. Whether you are facing a crushing setback or enjoying a moment of great success, this phrase brings everything into a sobering and liberating perspective. It reminds you that your current situation, no matter how intense, is not permanent. The disappointment you feel today will fade. The triumph you celebrate now will also become a memory. This is not meant to diminish your experiences, but to place them within the grand, flowing river of your life. By acknowledging this impermanence, you free yourself from being completely defined by any single event. You are not your failure, and you are not your victory. You are the consistent character who moves through all of it. When you voice this perspective to others during a crisis, you demonstrate a wisdom that goes far beyond simple reassurance. You are not just telling them everything will be okay. You are offering a philosophical truth that provides genuine comfort. It shows you understand the fundamental nature of existence, that change is the only constant. This marks you as a deeply mature and dependable individual. People will see that you are not swayed by temporary highs or broken by temporary lows. You possess an emotional equilibrium that others can lean on, knowing that your judgment remains clear and your spirit resilient because you see every moment for what it truly is, a single, passing chapter in a much longer story. This long-term thinking is a rare and respected quality, proving that your inner stability is built on the bedrock of reality itself. Anger is a fire that demands fuel. When someone directs their fury at you, the immediate, almost instinctual reaction is to throw your own emotional logs onto the blaze. But the seventh Stoic response is a bucket of cool water. You meet their rage not with equal fury, but with measured, firm calmness. This is not passive submission. It is an active and assertive choice to de-escalate the entire situation. Your calm becomes a shield that their anger cannot penetrate. The moment you refuse to mirror their emotional state, you demonstrate a superior level of emotional regulation that is instantly recognizable and deeply respected. You make it clear that you are not a puppet whose strings can be pulled by someone else's outburst. Your inner peace is not dependent on their mood. Think of it as a silent declaration. You are telling them without a single word of confrontation that their tactic will not work on you. You remain the steady center while their storm rages around you. This can be as simple as maintaining an even tone of voice while stating a boundary. If a colleague is yelling about a missed deadline, you might respond with, "I understand you are frustrated, but I need you to speak to me calmly so we can solve this." That single sentence does two powerful things. It validates their emotion, showing you have heard them, but it immediately sets a firm limit on how the interaction will proceed. You are not engaging with the anger itself. You are redirecting the energy toward a solution, just as we discussed earlier, but now from a position of enforced calm. This act of emotional leadership is magnetic. Onlookers see someone who can navigate high-stakes conflict without losing their composure, a person who commands the room not by shouting the loudest but by being the most grounded. It proves that your respect for yourself is far greater than your need to win a shouting match, and that self-respect is what others cannot help but admire. There is a unique power in speaking three simple words, "I do not know." In a world that often rewards the illusion of certainty, this admission can feel like a professional risk. Yet the eighth Stoic response turns this perceived weakness into undeniable strength. You confidently admit when you lack knowledge, not with shame or hesitation, but with the calm assurance of someone who values truth over ego. This is intellectual humility in action, a core Stoic virtue. The Stoics believed that wisdom begins with the recognition of our own ignorance. By openly stating the limits of your knowledge, you demonstrate a profound commitment to reality as it is, not as you wish it to appear. You are saying, "My goal here is not to impress you, but to understand." This honesty is startlingly refreshing. It immediately builds a foundation of trust because people recognize that your words are reliable. If you are willing to admit what you do not know, then they can fully believe you when you state what you do know. Your judgment becomes a trusted currency. Contrast this with someone who feels compelled to have an answer for everything. They might bluff, obscure, or deflect, and while this might work in the short term, people eventually see through the facade. That person's opinions become suspect, their expertise questioned. Your confident admission, however, proves you have a secure sense of self that does not rely on the crutch of false expertise. You are so grounded in your own worth that a gap in your knowledge does not threaten your entire identity. Imagine you are in a meeting and a colleague asks you a detailed question about a report's data. Instead of fumbling through a half-formed answer, you look them in the eye and say, "That is an excellent question, and I do not have that information at hand. I will find out and get back to you by this afternoon." This response does not diminish you, it elevates you. You have transformed a moment of uncertainty into a demonstration of responsibility and follow-through. You show respect for the question, respect for the truth, and respect for your own word. People will instinctively respect someone who operates with such transparent integrity. They see a leader who is not afraid of the truth, no matter where it leads, and that is a person worth listening to. Your confidence in admitting ignorance builds a foundation of trust, but that trust is tested when you face the temptation of a petty argument. The ninth Stoic response is to consciously choose silence over engagement. This is not a retreat born of weakness, but a strategic withdrawal powered by immense strength. You actively decide that the conflict is not worth your time, your energy, or your peace of mind. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves to focus only on what is truly important, what is virtuous and aligned with your purpose. A trivial dispute over who said what in a meeting, or a minor criticism of your personal preferences, falls far outside that circle of importance. When you refuse to engage, you are not ignoring the other person. You are honoring your own principles. You are making a public declaration that your inner tranquility is more valuable than winning a pointless debate. This act of selective silence communicates volumes to everyone watching. It shows that you have a clear and unwavering sense of priority. You are not easily baited or distracted by every minor provocation that comes your way. People see that you operate on a different level, one where your energy is reserved for meaningful pursuits and constructive conversations. Think of a colleague who tries to draw you into gossip or a complaint session about another team member. Instead of adding fuel to the fire, you offer a simple, neutral response, or you gracefully change the subject. You might even say, "I do not think that is a productive use of our time." This immediately sets you apart. You become known as someone who is above office politics and petty squabbles, a person whose focus is on the work itself and the larger goals. This cultivated restraint earns you a deep and lasting form of respect. It marks you as a person of substance, someone who cannot be pulled down into the noise because you are always listening for a more important signal. Choosing silence in petty matters preserves your energy for what truly counts. And nothing demonstrates this more powerfully than the 10th Stoic response, offering help without expecting anything in return. This is not a transaction, it is a duty. The Stoics believed we are all part of a single community, and assisting others is a fundamental expression of our shared humanity. When you help a colleague meet a deadline or share your expertise without being asked, you are not doing it to curry favor or secure a future payback. You are acting from a deep-seated belief in the common good. Your motivation is pure, and that purity is unmistakable. People can sense when an offer of help comes with invisible strings attached, and it breeds suspicion. But when your assistance is given freely, with no ulterior motive, it radiates genuine character and integrity. This selfless act builds a foundation of trust that is incredibly strong because it is unconditional. The other person knows you are not keeping score. They know your support is based on a consistent principle, not on their current status or what you might get from them. This fosters a deep, lasting respect that goes far beyond simple gratitude. You become known as a person of your word, someone who acts according to a moral code that values community over personal gain. In a world often driven by self-interest, this rare quality makes you a beacon of reliability and strength. Your willingness to give without taking proves that your inner worth is so secure, you do not need constant external validation. People are drawn to this authentic generosity, and the respect you earn is not for a single act, but for the unwavering character it reveals. A simple thank you can be one of the most difficult phrases to deliver with authenticity. When praise comes your way, the instinct is often to deflect it nervously or to puff up with pride. The 11th Stoic response cuts through this social discomfort with elegant simplicity. You accept the compliment with a sincere thank you, and then, if it feels genuine, you gracefully attribute that success to the team that supported you or to the fortunate circumstances that made it possible. This is not false modesty, it is a clear-eyed acknowledgement of how the world actually works. The Stoics held a specific view of external goods, things like success, reputation, and wealth. They saw them as preferable but not truly our own. They are gifts of fortune lent to us for a time, not products we manufacture from nothing. By sharing the credit, you are not diminishing your own effort, you are simply telling the truth about the interconnected nature of achievement. Your hard work was essential, but it was also aided by luck, by timing, and by the contributions of others. This humble perspective acts as a powerful vaccine against arrogance. It keeps you grounded in reality, preventing you from building an identity around your latest victory. When people see you handle success with such grace, their respect for you deepens considerably. They see someone who is not intoxicated by praise, someone who understands that accomplishments are temporary and that character is permanent. This gracious humility makes you far more approachable and trustworthy than the person who basks in the spotlight alone. It proves that your self-worth is not inflated by success, just as it is not deflated by failure. You remain the same steady, reliable person through all of life's ups and downs, and that consistency is the bedrock of lasting respect. Someone asks you the simplest of questions, "What do you do?" Your mind immediately leaps to your job title, the label given to you by an organization. But the 12th Stoic response invites you to answer from a much deeper place. You define yourself by your actions and your principles, not by your position. When someone inquires about who you are, you talk about what you actually do and the virtues you strive to embody. You might say, "I build things that solve problems," or "I help people understand complex information," or "I am someone who values integrity and continuous learning." This shift in language is a profound declaration of independence from external validation. It demonstrates that your core identity is built on your character and your contributions, things you fully control rather than on a title or a role which can be taken away in an instant. This is the essence of the Stoic focus on virtue as the sole good. Status and reputation are merely externals, preferred indifferences that have no true bearing on your moral worth. By anchoring your identity in your actions, you show that you understand what truly matters. You are not your business card. You are the sum of your choices, your efforts, and your intentions. This perspective is instantly respectable because it reveals a person of substance. People meet someone who is genuinely grounded, who does not need a fancy title to feel important. Your self-worth is internally generated, and that kind of quiet confidence is magnetic. It tells everyone that you are the same person whether you are the CEO or an intern, because your value comes from who you are at your core, not from the nameplate on your door. This commitment to substance over appearance earns a deep and lasting respect that no job title could ever confer. there is a profound strength in surrendering an argument. The 13th Stoic response is to let go of the need to always be right, to concede a point gracefully when the evidence clearly points against you. This is not a defeat, it is a strategic victory for your character. In the middle of a heated discussion, your ego will scream at you to dig in, to find a loophole, to save face at all cost. The Stoic, however, listens to a different voice, the quiet whisper of reason that values truth above tribal victory. When you recognize that the other person has made a more compelling case, you pause and you say, "You know, you have convinced me. I was looking at this the wrong way." That single sentence carries more power than 1,000 stubborn rebuttals. It demonstrates a rare form of intellectual honesty that commands immediate respect. You are showing everyone present that your commitment is to reality itself, not to the fragile construction of your own infallibility. This act requires immense security. You must be so grounded in your own self-worth that being proven wrong on a single point does not feel like a threat to your entire identity. It proves your mind is open and adaptable, a tool for finding truth rather than a fortress for defending outdated positions. People trust a mind that can change because they know it is guided by principle, not pride. This practice is a direct application of the Stoic virtue of wisdom, which is not about knowing everything but about pursuing truth with relentless honesty. By conceding, you prioritize the harmony of the discussion and the integrity of the outcome over the petty satisfaction of your own ego. Onlookers see this not as weakness but as the ultimate sign of maturity and strength. They see a person who is large enough to admit a mistake, secure enough to be wrong, and wise enough to understand that a collaborative truth is far more valuable than a solitary, hollow victory. There is a quiet confidence in being the person who is never caught off guard. While others operate on blind optimism, you employ the 14th Stoic response, preparing for the worst while actively hoping for the best. This is the ancient practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It is not about expecting disaster, but about mentally rehearsing potential challenges so they lose their power to shock you. When you calmly voice a contingency plan in a meeting, you are not being a pessimist. You are demonstrating a level of foresight that is both rare and deeply reassuring. Imagine your team is about to launch a new product. Everyone is excited, discussing the rollout party. You listen, and then you add, "The launch looks solid. I have also prepared a brief communication plan in case we encounter any unexpected customer service issues on day one." That single statement transforms you in the eyes of everyone present. You are no longer just a participant in the optimism, you are the guardian against potential chaos. You have shown that you have already traveled down the road of what could go wrong and have returned with a map. This does not dampen morale, it elevates it because it instills a powerful sense of security. People respect this preparedness because it reveals a mind that is comprehensive and resilient. You are not easily flustered by surprises because you have already made them familiar in your mind. This practice stems from the Stoic understanding that our anxiety is often fueled by the unknown. By bringing potential problems into the light of your reason and examining them calmly, you strip them of their emotional charge. You are not worrying, you are problem solving in advance. When you speak about these possibilities aloud, you do so with a steady tone, free from alarm. This communicates that you see challenges not as terrifying monsters but as manageable puzzles. Your colleagues and friends will come to see you as a pillar of competence, the person who keeps a clear head when circumstances change. They will trust your judgment because they know it is built on a foundation of sober reality, not on wishful thinking. This earned respect is for the individual who faces the full spectrum of possibility without fear, proving that true strength lies in a calm and ready mind. Your consistent preparedness marks you as a person of clear judgment, a judgment that extends beyond plans and into the very heart of human interaction. The 15th Stoic response is to treat every single person you meet with the same fundamental respect. This is not a social strategy, but a philosophical conviction. The Stoics believed that all human beings possess a spark of the same universal reason, a share of the divine logos. This shared rationality makes everyone, from the CEO to the janitor, your kin in a cosmic sense. When you are consistently polite and respectful to the receptionist, the intern, and the delivery person, you are not just being nice, you are actively acknowledging their inherent worth as a rational being. Your behavior becomes a living demonstration of this core Stoic principle. People notice this consistency. They see that your respect is not a currency you spend on those who can help you, but a baseline standard you apply to every human interaction. This is what it means to be a person of genuine character, someone whose actions are guided by an internal compass, not by the external hierarchy of the moment. The respect you earn through this practice is profound and widespread. The person in power respects you because they see you are not a sycophant, that your courtesy is not a performance designed for their benefit. The person with less obvious power respects you because you see them, truly see them, as an equal in dignity. You become known as someone who is authentically the same in every room with every person. This unwavering consistency sends a powerful message about your integrity. It proves that your values are not situational, that you treat people well because it is who you are, not because of who they are. In a world full of calculated social maneuvering, this principled equality is a rare and powerful force that draws people to you and earns a respect that is both deep and enduring. Failure is inevitable, but your response to it is a choice that defines your character. The 16th Stoic response is to immediately ask a single, transformative question the moment a setback occurs. What can I learn from this? This is not a passive acceptance of defeat, but an active excavation for wisdom. You are mining the failure for its hidden value, refusing to let the experience be wasted. When a project you championed falls short, you do not dwell on the blame or the disappointment. You gather your team and say, "This did not go as we hoped, so let us identify the 3 key lessons we can take forward." This shift in focus is electrifying. It demonstrates that your primary concern is not the past, which is already gone, but the future, which you can still shape. You are showing everyone that you view failure not as a verdict on your ability, but as a necessary part of the learning process itself. This proactive stance commands immense respect because it reveals a mindset that cannot be held down for long. People see a person who is resilient, adaptable, and perpetually focused on improvement. Your ability to detach from the emotional sting of failure and immediately seek its practical lesson proves that your self-worth is untouchable. It is not tied to perfect outcomes, but to your relentless pursuit of growth. You become someone who inspires others to take risks and to view their own stumbles not as catastrophes, but as data points on the path to mastery. This continuous, forward-moving energy is a rare and powerful force that earns respect through unwavering resilience. Your words are a precious resource not to be spent carelessly. The 17th Stoic response is to cultivate the art of speaking only what is necessary and what is true. In a world saturated with noise, gossip, and hyperbole, this disciplined approach to communication makes your voice stand out with quiet authority. The Stoics viewed speech as a direct extension of our reason, a faculty that must be used with purpose and virtue. Every time you choose to remain silent instead of engaging in office gossip, you are making a deposit into your account of personal integrity. When you resist the temptation to exaggerate a story for a more dramatic effect, you are reinforcing your commitment to reality. This is not about being quiet all the time, but about ensuring that when you do speak, your words carry the full weight of your character. People quickly learn that your statements are reliable, that your opinions are considered, and that your promises are solid. They begin to listen more carefully when you talk because they know you are not simply filling the air with sound. Your speech becomes a signal of substance in a sea of chatter. This practice is a direct application of the Stoic virtue of temperance applied to communication. It is the moderation of your tongue, By refusing to participate in the trivial or the untrue, you demonstrate a profound respect for both yourself and your listeners. You show that you value their time and their intelligence, and that you regard your own word as a bond. This integrity and discretion become the cornerstones of the respect you earn. People trust a person whose yes means yes and whose no means no, a person whose words are always measured and true. In the end, the power of your speech is not determined by its volume or its frequency, but by the unwavering truth and necessity behind every single word you choose to utter. Success arrives with a fanfare all its own, and how you stand in that spotlight reveals the depth of your character. The 18th Stoic response is to handle good fortune with the same composed grace you would a setback, recognizing its fleeting nature and refusing to be intoxicated by its charm. When you receive a promotion or achieve a major goal, the world expects a celebration, and there is nothing wrong with that. But the Stoic understands that this moment of triumph is as temporary as any moment of loss. It is an external event, a preferred indifferent that has come to pass, but it does not fundamentally alter who you are. Your virtue remains the only true good. This is why you resist the urge to boast or to become excessively excited in a way that disturbs your inner peace. You accept the success calmly, acknowledging it without letting it define you. This emotional equilibrium is startling to witness. While others might be riding a wave of euphoria, you remain grounded, your feet firmly planted on the same earth as before. This is not a lack of joy, but a deeper, more sustainable form of contentment that is not dependent on external events. People see this and recognize a profound strength. They see someone who cannot be thrown off balance by good news any more than by bad. Your calm in success demonstrates that your self-worth is internally generated, built on your character and your actions, not on the accolades you collect. This perspective is deeply respectable because it is so rare. It shows you understand the cyclical nature of life, that every high is followed by a leveling out, and that attaching your happiness to these peaks sets you up for a painful fall. You become the person who can be trusted with success because it will not corrupt your judgment or inflate your ego. Your steady hand at the helm, whether in calm seas or during a celebration, earns the unwavering respect of everyone who understands that true power lies not in what happens to you, but in who you choose to be through it all. An apology without a plan is just noise. The 19th Stoic response cuts through that noise by taking full, public responsibility for your mistakes and immediately presenting your solution. When you err, you do not hide it, minimize it, or search for someone else to blame. You stand up and say, "I made a mistake. Here is what happened, and here is my plan to fix it and ensure it does not happen again." This is the ultimate expression of the Stoic pursuit of excellence and justice. You are acting with excellence by striving to correct your error and improve your process. You are acting with justice by giving others the honest account they are due. This direct accountability is a shock to the system in the best possible way. It completely disarms the critics and transforms a moment of failure into a demonstration of supreme integrity. People are conditioned to expect defensiveness, the shifting of blame, the long-winded excuses. When you offer none of that, when you calmly own the error and present the remedy, you command the room. Your colleagues see a person who is more committed to the truth than to their own ego. A person who values the health of the project or the relationship more than their temporary image. This builds a trust that is unshakable. They learn that you are a safe pair of hands because even when you falter, you are the first to acknowledge it and the most dedicated to setting things right. Your willingness to be vulnerable in this way does not make you look weak, it makes you look incredibly strong. It proves your self-worth is so solid that a single misstep cannot crack its foundation. You earn respect not for being perfect, but for being impeccably responsible. A difficult client demands a complete revision of your work, a request that feels like a personal attack on your time and effort. The 20th Stoic response is to see this barrier not as a frustration, but as a hidden invitation to innovate. You actively reframe the challenge as a direct opportunity to develop a skill you have been meaning to practice, perhaps advanced negotiation, a new software technique, or a more patient communication style. This is the practical essence of the Stoic maxim that the obstacle is the way. The impediment to action, when viewed through this lens, becomes the very path forward itself. By consciously choosing to see the client's demand as a chance to hone your adaptability, you transform a draining external event into a source of internal power. You are no longer a victim of their request, you are the architect of your own growth, using their resistance as the raw material to build a stronger, more capable version of yourself. This mindset shift is not naive optimism, it is a strategic reorientation of your perception. It requires you to ask a powerful question in the face of any setback, not "why is this happening to me?" but "what new strength is this situation asking me to cultivate?" Your creative resilience in this moment is unmistakable. While others might complain or resist, you are already exploring solutions, energized by the chance to solve a novel puzzle. This indefatigable spirit, this refusal to be defeated by circumstance, commands a unique form of respect. People see someone who cannot be blocked, only redirected onto a more interesting path. You become known as a person who thrives under pressure because you have learned the secret that every barrier is secretly a door, if only you have the courage to look for the handle. Your ability to remain clear-headed under pressure is tested most severely when a colleague comes to you in distress. The 21st Stoic response is to practice empathy without surrendering your objectivity. You listen intently to their emotional story, you acknowledge their feelings with sincerity, and then you gently guide the conversation toward rational ground. This is the delicate balance of being a compassionate anchor in their storm, without letting their emotional waves capsize your own judgment. You might say, "I can hear how frustrating this is for you, and that is completely understandable. Now let us look at the facts of the situation together and see what options we have." This approach is profoundly respectful. It validates the person's humanity, showing you see and hear their pain, but it does not get lost in it. You are demonstrating that you care enough to understand their emotional state, but you are also strong enough to not be consumed by it. This balanced response earns immense respect because it shows you possess emotional intelligence paired with unwavering reason. People in distress are not looking for someone to simply join them in their panic or anger. They are looking for a steady hand to help them navigate out of it. By offering both understanding and a clear path forward, you become that person. You prove that true support does not mean mirroring another's chaos, but providing the calm perspective they have temporarily lost. This ability to be both caring and clear-headed in the most difficult situations marks you as a person of incredible strength and reliability, someone who can be trusted to hold space for emotion without ever losing sight of the solution. Every second you spend is a piece of your life you will never get back. This is the stark, beautiful truth the Stoics lived by, a principle called memento mori, the remembrance of death. It is not a morbid fixation, but a powerful tool for clarity. By keeping the finite nature of your time at the forefront of your mind, you are forced to ask a vital question with every action: is this worthy of a piece of my life? This profound respect for your own time becomes the 22nd Stoic response, a behavior that earns you instant and deep respect from everyone around you. When you are consistently punctual, you are sending a powerful, non-verbal message. You are telling others that you value their life as much as you value your own. Your punctuality says, "I recognize your time is just as limited and precious as mine, and I will not waste a minute of it." This simple act of showing up on time is a profound demonstration of respect. Conversely, chronic lateness communicates the opposite, that your minutes are more valuable than theirs, that your schedule matters more. The Stoic, however, sees all time as a shared, non-renewable resource. But it goes far deeper than just being on time. You also demonstrate this value by being fiercely mindful of how you spend your own hours. You consciously avoid time-wasting activities, not because you are rigid, but because you are protective. You guard your focus against trivial distractions, pointless meetings, and energy-draining gossip. When someone sees you gracefully exit a conversation that has veered into unproductive territory, or when you decline a request that does not align with your core goals, they are not offended. They are impressed. They see a person who has a clear understanding of their own priorities and the courage to uphold them. This commands respect because it reveals a powerful self-respect. You are telling the world through your actions that your life is too valuable to be frittered away on things that do not matter. This disciplined approach makes your presence and your input incredibly valuable. When you are in a meeting, people listen because they know you chose to be there. When you offer an opinion, it carries weight because they understand you have allocated your finite attention to this specific issue. Your time becomes a currency of high value, and by spending it wisely, you teach others how to value you. They learn that your yes is a genuine commitment and your no is a principled decision. And in a world of constant distraction, that kind of clarity and purpose is a rare and deeply respectable quality. The 23rd Stoic response transforms minor irritations from emotional triggers into simple data points. You consciously choose which battles are worth your energy, letting the rest fade into the background without a second thought. This is not passive avoidance, but active strategic thinking. Every day presents countless opportunities for annoyance: a colleague's loud chewing, a dismissive email, a change in the lunch meeting schedule. Your ego, hungry for validation, will urge you to react to each one, to assert your importance, to correct the perceived slight. The Stoic, however, asks a single, clarifying question before engaging. Does this situation truly matter in the grand scheme of my life and my values? If the answer is no, you simply let it go. This conscious release is a powerful display of emotional intelligence. It shows you understand the difference between a genuine obstacle and a trivial distraction. When you refuse to be provoked by something insignificant, you communicate a profound sense of priority to everyone watching. They see a person who cannot be easily knocked off course by the petty dramas of the day. Your emotional energy becomes a conserved resource, deployed only for the issues that genuinely impact your principles and your purpose. This strategic restraint makes you a more formidable presence, not a weaker one. People respect the individual who remains unshaken by the small stuff because it reveals a mind focused on the horizon, not on the pebbles underfoot. Your calm in the face of minor chaos proves that your peace is too valuable to be stolen by a passing irritation, a quality that earns a deep and lasting respect for your wisdom and self-command. Your principles become your most powerful form of communication, a silent language everyone understands. The 24th Stoic response is to live in accordance with nature and virtue, aligning your daily actions with the core principles of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. This is not about following a rigid set of rules, but about making your inner character your primary project. You are essentially building an unshakable inner citadel, brick by virtuous brick. When you consistently act with wisdom, you demonstrate sound judgment and a deep understanding of what is truly important. When you act with courage, you face difficult tasks and necessary conversations not without fear, but without being controlled by it. Justice guides you to treat others fairly and to contribute to the common good, while temperance ensures you exercise self-control in your desires and your actions. This fourfold alignment is not a performance for an audience. It is a private commitment to excellence that, over time, becomes your public identity. People may not know the philosophical terms, but they instinctively recognize the pattern. They see you make the same tough, principled choice when it is easy, and when it is hard, when people are watching, and when you are completely alone. This unwavering consistency is what makes you a person of undeniable integrity. they come to realize that your behavior is not a reaction to your circumstances, but a reflection of your core self. This is what earns the deepest form of respect, one that is not given lightly but is compelled by the evidence of your character. It is the respect for someone who cannot be bought, swayed, or corrupted because their compass is fixed on a true north of virtue. You become a living example of a life well lived, and in a world of shifting sands, people cannot help but respect the bedrock they find in you. This final Stoic response is perhaps the most transformative of all, a quiet meditation on the very nature of life itself. You remember your own mortality. This is the ancient practice of memento mori, not as a morbid fixation on death, but as a powerful lens to bring your life into sharp, vivid focus. The Stoics were not afraid of death. They saw it as the ultimate reminder to live well. By consciously reflecting on the finite number of days you have, you are forced to confront a question of immense power. If today were my last, would I be proud of how I spent it? This is not about creating panic, but about instilling a profound sense of urgency and meaning into every single moment. When you operate with this awareness, your entire demeanor shifts. You stop postponing what is important. You speak with more sincerity because you understand that time for honest conversation is limited. You act with greater conviction because you know that opportunities are not infinite. You waste less energy on trivial conflicts and focus instead on meaningful contributions. This lends a powerful seriousness to your actions, a weight that others can feel. They see someone who is fully present and deeply engaged, not drifting through life on autopilot. Your passion for the present moment becomes unmistakable. This is not a frantic, hurried passion, but a calm, intense appreciation for the gift of now. When you interact with others from this place, you give them the rarest of gifts, your complete and undivided attention. You listen as if it might be the last time you hear their voice. You work as if this project is your final legacy. This profound respect for your own fleeting existence naturally extends into a deep respect for the people and the world around you. Others perceive this as the highest form of engagement, a way of moving through the world that is both purposeful and passionate. They see a person who is truly alive, and that vibrant, intentional life commands an instant and enduring respect, for it reminds everyone who witnesses it of their own potential to live not just longer but deeper. These 25 responses weave together into a single, unbreakable chain of character. From the power of a deliberate pause to the wisdom of admitting ignorance, from the strength in gratitude to the integrity of a well-kept word, each one is a thread in the fabric of a truly respectable person. This is not a persona you put on for meetings. It is a person you build from the inside out through daily practice. Respect is never demanded. It is always earned through the quiet, consistent application of strength, wisdom, and virtue. It is earned in the moments no one sees, the private choices to act with integrity, so that when you step into the light, your character speaks for itself without a single word of posturing. Your journey to earning instant respect begins with a single choice today. Choose one of these Stoic responses and live it with intention. Make it a part of your daily rhythm until it becomes second nature, then move to the next. Build your inner citadel one virtuous action at a time. We would love to hear which of these 25 responses resonated most deeply with you. Share your choice in the comments below and let us know how you plan to put it into practice. Go forward and live a life so grounded in principle that respect naturally follows in your wake.